All right. Yeah, go ahead and move where you guys. You guys can totally move over here if you want. I can move.
All right, so yeah, thanks for having me today. I'm excited to be able to talk with students about the nonprofit minor, because it's sometimes not a minor that gets a lot of publicity across the campus. We try to help advisors in lots of different departments get educated about what the minor looks like, because it fits it well with so many different majors. But in particular with social work majors, many of you will find yourselves working in nonprofit organizations, either in clinical settings or direct service settings. So the nonprofit minor would be a really complementary degree program to go along with your social work bachelor's. So I brought some handouts, so I'll give extras to you as well. But this is an overview of what the minor looks like. So it's a standalone minor, so students of any major can minor in nonprofit administration. My name is Andrea Vernon. I'm the advisor for the minor on the campus, and my office is located over in the basement level of the Davidson Honors College within the Civic Engagement Office. And so the minor is 21 credits total. Our two core classes make up 6 of those credits. Those core classes are offered through political science. So that's political science 466 and 467. The 466 class is the fall semester class. It's the introduction to nonprofit administration and public service. And in that class, we really focus on all aspects of what nonprofits are. We start with kind of the history and purpose of the nonprofit sector, how that's grown into being as part of a really vibrant aspect of our economy. And then we look at how these are mission-driven organizations governed by a board of directors. You get into strategic planning, financial management, fundraising, volunteer management, all sorts of aspects. So we touch on different aspects throughout that semester so every week you're kind of looking at a different topic within nonprofit administration. That's a service learning class, so you're doing 20 hours of service with a nonprofit organization for the duration of that semester. So you're actually getting to get out into an organization, see what they're all about, and apply some of your skills, and definitely enhance your learning by seeing an organization in action. The spring semester course is our advanced course then. That's Political Science 467. And in that class you focus in on financial management, fundraising, grant writing, and strategic planning. So you kind of concentrate throughout the semester on those 4 different topic areas. And those are very applied in nature content areas. So for example, for the grant writing portion, you're writing portions of a grant. If you're a graduate student, you're writing a full grant in that class. You're putting together a strategic plan for an organization. So we've designed our core curriculum to be very applied in nature, so you're able to kind of understand, learn the content, and then see how you practice it in the setting, in a field setting. So those are the 2 core classes, so that makes up 6 of the credits. In addition to the 2 core classes, students can pick from our list of electives 4 additional courses. We have 6 different competency areas listed at the bottom. So there's communication as a competency, youth and adult development, human resources and volunteer management, nonprofit program planning, nonprofit marketing, and nonprofit accounting and financial management. So those are the 6 content areas. You pick 4 electives within those 6, and we can only count 1 class in each of those areas. So for example, you can see in communication, we have a lot of comm classes offered. So if you're a communication major, you might be taking 3 or 4 of those classes, but we only count 1 toward the minor. We do have some flexibility within those electives. I've had social work students in the minor before, and we've been able to substitute out some classes in the past within the program planning or the adult and youth development. We're looking at developmental stages over a lifetime, that type of thing. So we're usually able to have some flexibility with counting one of your courses for your major as well as for the minor, so you can kind of double dip those requirements. So you take those elective credits. A lot of times if students come into the minor as a freshman or sophomore, then they're able to sort of start knocking out those electives pretty early on. If you come in a little bit later, we're going to have to condense that time frame a little bit more to get going on the elective credits for the minor. So that makes up 18 of those credits, and then the final 3 credits come in the form of your internship. And what I do with social work students, when you're doing your practicum, we can almost always overlap that for the requirement for the nonprofit internship, because many of you will be doing your practicums in nonprofit organizations. So what I do is work with the student and the advisor here for practicum, just to make sure you're in a 501c3. I like to take a look at your work plan that you put together for your practicum. And I usually have students fill out the education contract for the minor to show which of the competency areas that they're going to focus on within that practicum for the minor. So it's very seamless. It's a very easy way to knock out both of those requirements for the major and the minor. So you don't have to do an internship on top of your practicum for this minor. So that's another important piece to remember. I do, however, like to have students be either partway through or all the way done with that first core class, the Poli-Sci 466 class, because that lays that foundation for you to really apply a lot of things within your practicum setting. So that's something that we would work out timing-wise within your program, as to when you're looking to start your practicum, to make sure you've, had time to get that first core class requirement underway as well. So that's kind of the gist of the minor. It's very, like I said, it's very applied in nature. Students really come out of this minor feeling like they have skills that they can put on their resume. You definitely have experience through the service line and the internship / practicum experience. So those are really good ways that you can demonstrate to future employers that you've had some hands-on experience while you're here doing your undergraduate work. So questions, comments?
It's definitely beneficial for when you get into the employment
Yes,
field.
minors really do help set you apart, I think, from other applicants in the field sometimes. It can really show, like I said, a very concentrated skill development when you're able to have a minor like this. And it's a very unique type of learning. You can take a business management class and learn about management skills, but that's very different in a nonprofit setting in many ways. Oftentimes you're managing volunteers and not paid staff. Oftentimes, with a strategic plan, it can look similar to a business, a for-profit business, but with strategic planning, you're involving your stakeholders, not necessarily your shareholders, like you would be in a for-profit business. So these are unique skill sets that are very concentrated to the nonprofit sector that really do help people understand and get a better feel for what the sector is, better feel for what these organizations are. And then if you can go into a job setting knowing the language,
Right.
understanding the concepts around nonprofit administration and fund development, those types of things, it really does, like I said, it sets you apart in an interview, it sets you apart if you can use that kind of language within a cover letter and on your resume. Definitely shows that you are prepared with a very unique skill set. And on top of the social work degree, these two just couldn't
Right.
be any more, aligned. So actually, I was able to meet with Professor Kurinji yesterday at a meeting on campus, and I told him I would be talking with social work students. He said, "We've got to get you in front of some of our classes." It's like, yeah, I'd love to, because like I said, this is I think a missed opportunity with a lot of social work students.
Yeah, I think a lot of them just might not be aware of it. I didn't even realize it was a minor.
Yeah.
So that's great. Is there any truth to when you work in nonprofit for so long as far as student loans? And
Yes, so right now through the federal government, there still is a program in place for people that go into public service careers. So if you are working in a nonprofit organization for 10 years, it's a 10-year period, then they'll forgive your loans, federally recognized or federally subsidized student loans after that 10-year period. There's a woman in the financial aid office on campus. Her name's Julie. I don't remember her last name offhand. She is an expert on this stuff and really can help students understand what you need to do right from the get-go once you get a job within the nonprofit or public service sector, so that you can get into that government program right away. We don't know what the future of that program looks like, as with many social service programs right now at the national level. So if students can get into a job and start that clock ticking, if they do away with the program a year or 2 years or 3 years from now, you'd be grandfathered in because you're part of that program. So that's part of the advice that the financial aid office is giving right now. But she's an excellent resource right here on campus to help students understand how that benefit would work.
that is excellent.
Yeah.
And how anybody who's interested in this minor,
Uh-huh.
how do you have a suggestion for who they should talk to?
Yep,
or
come
where
see
they should-
me. Yep, my contact information is on both of these sheets, the front and the back. Just shoot me an email. I'd be happy to make an appointment with you. We can talk through where you're at with your program now, what year you're at, when you hope to graduate, and kind of lay out a timeline for completing the requirements for the classes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Sort of extra advising.
Yes, yeah, so I'm the advisor for the minor. So yes, I advise my students, when you're getting ready to sign up for classes for next semester, I definitely like to touch base, and people come in and we take a look at the list of electives, we look at where they're at for the core classes. And oftentimes we're talking about internships pretty early on. So in your social work program, how soon do you, about what year, is it your junior year that you start talking practicum, or is it?
Yeah, it usually
Okay.
is.
Yeah, so that's.
Once you get into your 300s.
Okay, so that's when we'd start looking at, okay, how do we make sure that we're seamlessly approaching the requirements for the practicum and the minor? But yeah, I've had, probably in the last 5 years, I've probably had a handful of social work students complete the program, and it's worked really well. I had one this summer that was interning, it was either this summer or this spring, she was doing her practicum with Soft Landings.
Okay.
Here.
What kind of agencies do the internships?
Lots. I mean, we have a lot of nonprofits in Missoula, and
Okay.
a lot of them really want our students as interns because they know that they're prepared and that they have this unique training. So yeah, they end up all over the place. A lot of people have been at the Pavarello Center, at the Food Bank, Garden City Harvest, Soft Landings, Watson's Children's Shelter.
Pretty much all of them.
It's all, yeah, it's lots. Big, small, Missoula Aging Services, youth homes. So yeah, I mean, some students really are looking for an experience with a large organization. Some I really want, a much smaller organization where they can see lots of the different aspects and lots of the hats that are worn by an executive director or program manager. So I really, just help work with students to understand the kind of experience they're looking for the internship, what their future career goals are, and how we can help get them there through the coursework and the internship. So it's
Excellent.
hopefully well planned out, but that doesn't mean things don't change along the way too.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, our organizations, we're just very fortunate here in Missoula. And I do have students that go back to their home communities and do internships out of state. I had a student this summer who, she's from the Seattle area, she goes to school here, but she wanted to go somewhere totally different for the summer and have her internship experience. So she interned with Make-A-Wish Foundation in Atlanta, Georgia, at their headquarter office in Atlanta. She worked on their fundraising team. So she got to work on some of their big fundraising events and
That's
do
really
some
cool.
donor requests and things like that. So it was a really good experience. So she got a very different, it's a very big organization and a big urban setting. So she got to understand a lot of the different community partnerships that are developed through the nonprofit sector in an urban area. But yeah, we're really fortunate in Missoula. We have so many different types of nonprofits. And of course, they rely heavily on not only our student interns, but student volunteers. So that's another, so like I mentioned, that first core class is a service learning class. So that's a good entry point for students that haven't yet had experience working or volunteering with a nonprofit here locally.
Yeah, and a lot of these are ones that people have taken.
That overlap with your requirements. Yeah, so that's the ideal, when it can be double dippers, triple dippers. We're always looking for those opportunities to streamline students, ability to get your courses done, get your requirements done, and get out of here. Yeah.
No questions, guys?
So, did you say this Poli-Sci 466 is offered only in fall or spring?
Fall. So the 466 is a fall, 467 is spring, and these are 400 level political science classes. Don't let that scare you off. Our core curriculum is placed in political science because of our connection to their public administration program. Like I mentioned, we have an MPA here on campus where students can specialize or concentrate in nonprofit administration. So typically students will get into those core classes either as a junior or a senior. On some occasions I have sophomores. Those are people who generally have some work experience in the sector or have volunteered a lot. But yeah, if you haven't taken a political science class, it doesn't mean you can't take Poli-Sci 466 if you're in the minor. Yeah,
So there's no prerequisites for those two?
no. There are some prerequisites though on the list of electives that you see there, so that's a good point. The business school is tough. If you want to take one of those marketing classes, oftentimes those classes are closed to just business students. So that's part of our advising is kind of like, well, you know, for some majors, they'll work with communication studies majors a little bit. They have a little open door for them. But if you're really into, you know, you want some marketing experiences, there's other elective courses that we can identify as substitute courses that aren't necessarily through the business school if you're a non-business major, because it's getting more and more difficult to take those classes. Yeah. Good questions. Anything else?
You guys good?
Okay.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, let me leave these handouts with you if you
Yes.
want to take them to the next meeting
Yeah,
or.
we have one tomorrow, so.
Okay.
I'll make sure everything gets done in motion.
Okay,
Just
great.
Mark should come to our 6 o'clock meeting.
Okay,
It was
all
very nice
right.
meeting you. Thank
Nice
you
to
so
meet you
much.
too. Yeah, thanks a lot. All right, you know where to find me if you have questions.
All right.
All right, have a good day.
Okay, I don't want to record myself. So we're just gonna shut that off. Can we stop it? No.
All those people not gonna get the full effect.
I